Transformers Generation 1 and the Beast Era, Beast Wars and Beast Machines. This can all be considered as one continuity. Do all three make a cohesive storyline? Maybe. With a couple of tweaks, you might be able to get something from start to finish. What many people don't realize is that these are two generations of Transformers, for the toy line, but also in the universe. The Maximals and the Predacons make for a decent descendants for the Autobots and Decepticons. However, I don't think they work together at the same time, meaning having the Maximals alongside the Autobots. At a point, it kind of becomes redundant, and time travel can be a messy plot element. If you was to really look back on the War for Cybertron Netflix Kingdom part of the series and Rise of the Beasts, you can tell that the Maximals, being descendants, don't really flourish as descendants, but just add-ons to the Autobot forces. And that is the problem. They are forever in the Autobots' shadow. People know about the Autobots more than they will ever do about the Maximals. Some people don't even know about the Maximals. But if you say Optimus Prime, anybody can say, oh yeah, he's the leader of the Autobots. And that's the problem. When you add these Beast Wars characters, their maximal culture is overwritten by the Autobot presence. That happened to Optimus Primal in the Primal Wars trilogy. It happened to Cheetor in Cyberverse. They can't really flourish as Maximals, but just as other Autobots. They're just good guys, besides being Maximals. Even though in Rise of the Beasts that the Maximals was giving some emphasis, they still pale in comparison to the Autobots' presence. There just wasn't enough to highlight their presence, or to give any reason why we have the Maximals in this movie. One Maximal didn't even speak. That goes to show you about the treatment of the Maximals. If they make that G.I. Joe Transformers movie, they probably won't even bring the Maximals back, thus nullifying the title Rise of the Beast, making it meaningless. The studio should have picked a better title. But back to my point, when it comes down to mixing the Generation 1 characters with the Beast Era characters, problems will occur. You're trying to find a mix between those two eras, but the people behind these projects will always prioritize those characters from Generation 1. One great example is Megatron, Beast Wars Megatron, and the War for Cybertron Netflix series. Because the writers couldn't really figure out what to do with this Megatron, because they already had a leader, and that leader would not even tolerate the leadership of Predacon Megatron, they just made him out to be a fanboy, a shill. This didn't sit well for those who are a fan of the Beast Wars. Predacon Megatron had a great character. How he carried himself, how he calculated things. He was somewhat smarter than the original G1 Megatron. I understand he took the name from the original Megatron, but I don't think he would just be kissing up to him. But that's what the Netflix writers thought about this character. But because they didn't want any conflict between the two Megatrons, they just made him a pathetic subordinate. He didn't even have no decent characterization. And that's the problem with mixing these two generations together. The Beast Wars characters will always get the shorter end of the stick.